I'm Matt with Hoboken Horology, and today we're going to be talking about the Verge Escapement. What is an escapement? Escapement is the beating heart of a watch. It limits the power going to the gear train. The Verge Escapement is the absolute first escapement. Before this escapement, the clocks were mainly run on water, or you could have solar-powered clocks, but this escapement allowed time to be more accurately displayed, and it was first used in clock towers, and from there it slowly made its way to wristwatches. Now, the Verge Escapement made all timepieces possible. It is the most primitive escapement, and understanding the Verge Escapement will allow you to break down and understand modern escapements like the lever escapement or the cylinder escapement or any of the ongoing escapements anything after the Verge Escapement, pretty much. So if you break something complicated down to its most primitive form, definitely helps you understand it, and it helped me with my understanding of watch movements. According to George Daniels in his book Watchmaking, he says the origins are unknown for the Verge Escapement. He also says it has two components: an escape wheel, a crown wheel as suggested by its shape, and balance or verge access. So basically you have the rod, which is also known as the verge, and you have the pallets on the rod, and you have the crown or the wheel. How does it work? According to F.J. Gerard of Watch Repairing, Cleaning, and Adjusting, the escape wheel has 13 or 15 sawtooth teeth. Now, the escape wheel has to have an odd number of teeth. That way the pallets won't lock up. The teeth points act alternately on the pallets, which are steel flags projecting from the verge body. As you can see on the rod, there are these two pallets. In this escapement, the balance is never free from the escape wheel. When the teeth are not driving the pallets are causing the teeth to recoil. Their force, any vibration in the motive power directly affects the time of the watch, and a fuse is necessary. Stronger mainsprings will cause the watch to gain, or a weaker one will make it lose. Not the case with the lever or cylinder escapement. So basically what he's saying is the stronger the mainspring, the watch will gain time, the weaker it'll lose time. So the Verge Escapement is more of a balancing act than the lever escapement or the cylinder escapement, which came right after the Verge Escapement. Until the application of the balance spring in 1670, the timekeeping of the Verge Escapement could have varied up to a half hour per day. So with the Verge Escapement, you could have up to a half hour per day. Now, my Seamaster 300 has about plus 1 second per day. So there's a massive jump between those two. But, this is the beginning of escapements, and it has only gotten better from here. And after the invention of the lever escapement, it is basically the gold standard of Swiss watchmaking. So basically, this is the beginning of it all. Hopefully I've done the Verge Escapement justice. There's so many early escapements that we do not use today, and frankly some that I've read about, and they're frankly hard to believe that they were used in clocks. I'm mostly interested in watches and wristwatches, and that goes along with pocket watches, but it's amazing to see some of these escapements, and it would be a challenge for modern watchmakers to induct these older movements back into their wristwatches, maybe to make a display of their ingenuity or their engineering to be able to use some of these incredible movements. The Verge Escapement, because of its primitive form, maybe if it was with a fuse, it wouldn't be as interesting. But if chosen to be used on the right piece, maybe it would be. It is the start of all escapements, and to not actually know the origin of the Verge Escapement is the most exciting thing, because honestly, It's one of the most important things in the history of technology and where we have come today, and where we've come from and how far we've come, basically. So to not know who invented this escapement and to not know who's responsible for everything that we have today, it's quite incredible. And these clock towers weren't always completely documented on who built them. And to have this movement. Also, this movement was in older clocks, especially clock towers, they were upgraded or they were restored. And sometimes if there was something that would have a better balance, it would be changed. So it's amazing that we don't actually know where this came from, but it's still an amazing escapement, and it's really simple to understand. So hopefully I've helped and haven't made things more difficult than they have to be. But if there's an escapement in particular you would want me to talk about, I'm definitely going to talk about different escapements. Probably not going to go into as much detail, only as much information as I can find or I can read about. So thank you for watching. You could have been watching any other video online, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that.